And now I'm not relaxed.
So we are talking.
Okay.
It's June.
We need a
No, it's
clap.
not. It's
Clap?
July. Do you want to do it? You do it.
Oh, you do it.
Okay, I did it. It's July. You got to do the intro bit, I think.
Okay.
You're better than me. You're more American.
Hi. Hi, Dr. Hume.
Oh, hello. How are you?
I'm good.
Dr.
How are
Tiff.
you?
I'm good.
Can't believe it's July.
It's July. The sun's out. We're going to talk about some deals, some big
Hot biotech deals from June 2025.
from June.
There were some big ones.
Super big ones.
Yeah.
People are making big moves. We got a cancer vaccine one. We've got a
Rare disease one.
and genetic therapy, which I think you would argue that the cancer vaccine one is most exciting. Would you?
For me personally, but also generally,
Yeah.
it's a big acquisition. But yeah, it seems like all these biotech companies want to close their deals before they go skiing.
Is that what's going on?
Yeah, that's
And
what I think.
The markets are all, by the way, back up now. The markets are booming again.
Yeah, how are they doing?
Booming.
Nice.
Yeah. So is that
How are your investments going?
better?
Good. Very good.
So
Well, everyone, welcome to another episode of Sam and Tiv Talk Science. This is the biotech deals episode on what happened in June 2025. I'm Tiffany, your co-host. I did my PhD in oncology at the University of Oxford, where I met Sam, and I currently work for two biotech companies. One is a cancer vaccine spinout called Infinitopes, and the other one is a company I co-founded with my friends called Gambit Bio, where we're doing early cancer detection.
super exciting. I think I described you the other day as the future of cancer, or maybe I described you as building the future of cancer.
Thank you.
You
You
are-
should be our PR person.
Yeah, that's not bad, right? You're building the future of cancer. I think that's the way I put it.
And what about you? You're building the
I'm-
future of science and medicine communication
Something like that. Yeah.
and saving people's lives as a doctor.
Yes, I'm a doctor and a scientist, and I do some other things. I will eventually
That
update
is such a humble
will do-
introduction, and now I feel so bad.
I will update the tagline eventually, but not yet.
University of Oxford, 3 degrees, right?
That's not.
it-
That's embarrassing.
It's
rather
3,
than-
right? Yeah, it is 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So
I can be the American one here. It's okay.
let's start talking about the first one.
Yeah. So first deal is a very German deal because both companies are German. So BioNTech, which some people pronounce as BioNTech, made famous by the COVID vaccines. They're a German company and they've just bought, or this deal's to be finalized, but they've just bought CureVac, which is a cancer vaccines company, also based in Germany, for a $1.2 billion deal. All stock deal. They're both public companies. And interestingly, CureVac, the one being acquired, is the older company, founded in 2000.
Wow.
But,
they got overtaken.
Yeah, and BioNTech was founded in 2008.
Wow.
Interesting, yeah?
Interesting.
But yeah, so this is part of BioNTech's strategy to strengthen their oncology portfolio and mRNA vaccine portfolio, because CureVac has made multiple mRNA vaccines in both the infectious diseases space as well as oncology. And the two companies have a lot of similar ambitions and goals. So this deal made a lot of sense.
It's interesting. I was curious about the pipelines for both companies, right?
Yeah. Because obviously BioNTech had the COVID one.
Yeah, exactly.
In collaboration with Pfizer.
Exactly. But in terms of the the mRNA cancer vaccines that they have in the pipeline, I was curious. So just to give you an idea, a flavor of the kind of cancers they're looking at. So neither of them have a cancer vaccine approved. That's though because there aren't any cancer vaccines approved. But so BioNTech have a few. So they have one for melanoma.
Yep.
Which makes a lot of sense. And we could talk
post
about
a
why.
child.
Exactly. They have an interesting one for HPV positive head and neck cancer. That's interesting. So it targets the oncoproteins that the HPV virus puts in the DNA. So it's very interesting. they have one for non-small cell lung cancer, which also makes a lot of sense. Whereas CureVac is focused on, there's one for glioblastoma, which is really interesting, and one for non-small cell lung cancer.
Yes. And it's great that you brought that up because there were no specific mentions of which of CureVac's wholly owned assets or candidates that BioNTech was interested in. It was more so they cited their general state-of-the-art research and their manufacturing site in Tübingen. How do you say that place?
That sounds good. I can't say. I can't say.
You were the one who lived in Germany for a year.
I can't say it better than you.
Can't really say that place. But yeah, the manufacturing site, which is also a really important part of cancer vaccines, the actual manufacturing of the vaccines,
which you know all about.
I know.
Did you meet these guys at the conference? Any of these guys?
I think I met a lot of people from CureVac at last year's Neoantigen Summit in Amsterdam.
Interesting,
but not at the Dark Genome in Boston this year because that one was quite a small esoteric.
Right, you said there's only 40 people there. Right?
Yeah, only 40 people.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can talk about that another time. Very interesting conference on the non-coding part of the genome.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a all stock deal. So if this deal closes, then current CureVac shareholders will end up owning around 4 to 6% of BioNTech.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
And yeah, CureVac was publicly listed on NASDAQ as of 2020. So with public companies. And yeah, like you mentioned, like they both have like oncology assets. Yeah. And BioNTech, apart from cancer vaccines, they recently are trying to license this HER2 targeted ADC from a Chinese company called Lilly Bio. And they've also got a PD-L1 VEGF bispecific, like everyone else is having nowadays.
Interesting.
And obviously they've got their own cancer vaccines programs, both off-the-shelf vaccines and personalized cancer vaccines.
Yeah, exactly. Can we take a step back and just briefly talk about how the framework of cancer vaccines work in terms of like the different categories of cancer vaccines?
Yeah, let's do it.
Could you just talk us through the kind of categories of them? Yeah,
so there are different ways to categorize these cancer vaccines. First is the modality. So obviously, they're the mRNA vaccines, which both BioNTech and CureVac make. They specialize in mRNA, but there's also like DNA vaccines, peptide vaccines, etc. That's one way to look at it. The second way to look at it is whether or not it's personalized or off the shelf.
Yeah,
and personalized just means that for each unique patient, you have to make a vaccine for them. And as you would imagine, that's very costly, but that might be more accurate. But yeah, lots of caveats. Or you have off-the-shelf vaccines where, like as the name suggests, it applies to like a big portion of the population. So you don't need to design it. You can just like have it off the shelf, like a COVID vaccine, administer it to a large number of people, which is less costly.
Exactly, yeah. And we said as well earlier, so two of the cancer types that I said earlier were melanoma and non-small cell lung cancer, and that's for very good reason.
Yeah. Would you like to explain why those are usually the indications where you see cancer vaccines being made for?
Yeah, basically it's because they're more mutagenic, right?
And what does that mean?
So the way that cancer vaccines work is that they are looking for cells that are distinct. They're looking for cancer cells that are distinct from normal cells because that's how that's what they're targeting. So melanoma is very different from normal cells because of the sun. The sun damages DNA. It produces neoantigens, so it causes mutations that causes new proteins to be made, which are very different, that make the cell look different.
So to the immune system, it's obvious that it's different.
So it's more like foreign. It looks more like, I guess, like a virus or a bacteria that's infecting it. So it's more attractive to the immune system. Mm-hmm. And non-small cell lung cancer is similar because it's usually caused by smoking. Smoking is very mutagenic, causes lots of changes in DNA. And that, again, makes it more attractive to the immune system, more immunogenic. So if you're talking about like the poster children of cancer vaccines, we're talking about mainly melanoma and non-small cell lung cancer.
Yeah. And for a lot of immunotherapies too, because of the same concept.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. And obviously this similar logic applies to infectious diseases, which is not surprising for CureVac that they had some infectious diseases assets. But from a business point of view, they tried to pivot to oncology. So last year, they actually sold their vaccines against influenza and COVID to GSK for $430 million in upfront cash, which is nice.
Interesting. I guess that's a little less sexy, right? I think it would be fair to say kind of flu and COVID jabs, much less sexy than cancer jabs.
Exactly, especially now that
I would also
COVID's
say
died
basically
down.
we've basically solved flu and COVID jabs. They've been solved. I mean, I know we have to change them every year and so on, but still they're solved. Cancer vaccines are very much not
Very
solved.
hot.
I mean, I've had loads of COVID and flu jabs. I've never had a cancer jab.
Yeah, so that's the next up and coming thing.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's interesting because GSK, I need to be double checked on this. But I think they're focusing on the infectious diseases space. So they want to buy up everything in the infectious disease space.
Interesting.
Especially because I think they want to go to market in China and other countries where there's a big need for these infectious disease vaccines.
Interesting.
So, yeah, one company's trash is another company's treasure.
So and just last, unless you have anything else to say, I just want to say one more.
Yeah.
Just the last thing to say is that the future of cancer is, I think, is very much prevention. Prevention is the future of cancer, which is why what you're doing is so important and why this is so important. Cancer vaccines are the future, and they are coming, and they're going to help.
Guys, you heard it first from Dr. Sam Hume, MD, PhD. You need to be our PR person.
I would be happy to be your PR person. I am very excited for the future of cancer vaccines.
Me too.
And prevention.
But if it's coming from me, it's very biased. So it's great that you're saying it.
Yeah,
I haven't paid him to say this.
So
yeah, it's definitely the next up and coming thing. One of the next up and coming things.
Yeah,
Let's move on to the next deal.
Okay.
Because this is also up and coming, right?
This is for sure up and coming. So this is a deal between Eli Lilly and Verve Therapeutics. So Eli Lilly is the behemoth. They have a lot of drugs. The main one they have that people know about is tirzepatide, which is called Mounjaro. Is the other name, the brand name, and it's a GLP-1 receptor agonist. Actually, it's a dual. You can get. I get a bit nerdy when I start talking about GLP-1 receptor agonists. I apologize. It's a dual. It's a dual GLP-1 GIP receptor agonist. It's a monster drug in a good way. It causes weight loss, prevents diabetes, and so on. Treats liver disease and so on. So that's Lilly, but now they're expanding with Verve Therapeutics. So they're acquiring it for $1 billion. And there's an interesting clause that if one of the therapies that we'll talk about reaches a phase 3 trial within 10 years, then it goes up to $1.3 billion.
Nice.
Dollars.
But $1 billion upfront, basically.
$1 billion upfront.
Wow.
And
they're a young company. Verve was only founded in 2018.
Wow.
7 years ago.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm really impressed because within 7 years, they've had 3 in vivo gene editing products.
Yeah, not approved, right? But
no, not approved. In the clinic, in clinical trials.
Yes,
but
yeah.
Still, that's quite fast.
And the approach that Verve Therapeutics is using is so beautiful. I think it would be fair to call it beautiful. It really is. So they are going for a base editing strategy.
Go on.
And it's built on this idea, which we spoke about before, that lots of people in the population have genetic changes, small genetic mutations. And so I'm going to talk about 3 genes that they are focusing on. One's called and I know the acronyms are off-putting, but one's called PCSK9, one's called ANGPTL3, and one's called lipoprotein A. These are all lipid regulators. Now, and it turns out that people in the population have little changes in these three genes that mean they have much lower levels of the protein product, or an inactive protein product. And as a consequence, they have much lower risk of cardiovascular disease. So
it's like serendipitously telling you
exactly
what needs to be inhibited in order for you to have a lower risk of cardiovascular disease.
And what they're going to do essentially is like incorporate these changes that we know are safe because they exist in the population into people who have high risk, and therefore lower their risk.
It's beautiful. It's so elegant.
Elegant is precisely the word. And so it's a base editing strategy. So you edit one base. So it's a CRISPR, it's a gene editing approach, but you edit just one base. And you target the liver, and that's important too.
And this is like a different form compared to the traditional CRISPR, because this is just single-stranded, and it won't have as many potential off-target effects as the original CRISPR, which usually makes like double-stranded breaks.
Yeah, exactly. And we spoke about, so it's a similar idea that we spoke about before with baby KJ, which is a personalized gene editing strategy that saved baby KJ's life.
Yeah.
And it was a base editing. So just one change of a DNA base.
Yeah. And so many genetic diseases, like 90% of genetic diseases are caused by a single base change, apparently, like a single nucleotide polymorphism, SNP for short. So this is like a perfect kind of solution if you know exactly which mutation to fix.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the other thing is it could be, or it would be, a one-time thing. So at the moment,
once in a lifetime thing. That's huge. Yes.
So all of I know the names are off-putting. PCSK9, ANGPTL3, lipoprotein A. I know they're off-putting, but they lower cholesterol. And at the moment, if you want to lower cholesterol, you can do it in various ways. So for example, you take a statin, daily pill statin.
Yeah.
Or you take something called ezetimibe, daily pill. Or you can't actually take a daily pill of a PCSK9 inhibitor yet, but maybe you can in the future. But they're all daily pills. But what if you could just take one therapy, one like injection or one intravenous therapy,
just once in your life?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know it's safe because the population has it. It exists in the population. And then lower your levels forever and fix the gene forever based on one edit.
Sounds like the holy grail. As long as it's like effective and like not toxic, etc. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. I mean, that's so smart. And I think that's why Verve has done so well. And also, just to say, it's based in, I think, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Yeah.
Nice.
Like many of the big biotechs being acquired. Yeah, it's so smart. I'm just wondering, like, why hasn't this been done before? Is it just because base editing wasn't there yet up to standards?
Yeah.
Probably why.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And I guess my question is, like, how common are these mutations throughout the population? Yeah.
Good question. Don't know.
Yeah. Because obviously, like, the market will depend on, like, how many people have these mutations and how often these patients get screened.
I see. You don't need the mutation to have the therapy, though.
Oh, you don't?
No, so sorry. So the mutations, they just exist in the population and they lower your risk. It's just like an SNP.
Okay.
And you're replicating that effect with the base editing.
I see. Okay, so you might, but what if you probably already, like, you probably don't have that lower risk SNP or allele because you have a high
for these patients. Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know, high blood pressure, like all the symptoms.
Yeah.
For cardiovascular health.
Exactly. Yeah. So what they're going to do is they start with the very highest risk patients, and there's a set of patients who have really high risk. It's called familial hypercholesterolemia. They have there's like a genetic cause of That's a bit confusing maybe, but is a really high risk of cholesterol and heart attacks and strokes and that kind of thing. So they will focus on those patients first and then move to the slightly lower risk but still high risk, and so on until they get to like people like us.
Yeah. I'll be happy to take it.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting because instead of fixing kind of like the root cause of the problem, you're kind of boosting the solution, if that makes sense. You kind of increasing the capacity to have better cardiovascular health, if that makes sense.
Exactly, yeah. Super interesting. And I just want to say, because it's quite interesting. So we're talking about lipid lowering therapies, right? Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting twist is that you get to see what the president of the United States is taking as pills. We get to see what his medication regimen is because they release it. Yeah. So do you know what he's taking for lipid lowering?
Oh gosh, what? What is he taking?
He takes a statin and ezetimibe. That's what he takes. Yeah. That's public knowledge. That's what the president takes.
Yeah.
But maybe in the future he'll get one of these therapies instead.
Yeah. And if he does, then we'll know.
Exactly. It's all public knowledge. It's very interesting. I mean, can you imagine being the president and then they release all of because they release like your height, your weight, your blood pressure, everything.
Your tax evasion. I'm joking.
They release like your kidney function, your liver function, everything.
That's great. I guess that's fair for the American people because they need to know that like the president is fit and able to run a country.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Well.
So anyway, lipid lowering therapy is very important. And it's
so
going to Lilly as well, which is because obviously there's a big fight between Lilly and Novo Nordisk.
Yes, in the cardiovascular space.
Exactly. Like cardiovascular, cholesterol, obesity, they're very much fighting. So this is a win for Lilly.
For Lilly and Verve.
Yes.
I think their like stock price went up by however many % on the day this was announced. Mm. But Lilly's one didn't, I think.
Lilly is a bit of a bigger beast though.
Yeah, exactly. Because like for them, the risk is on them. The win is for Verve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting. Oh, I guess I had one last question. Like these targets, do they know the mechanism? Because they know it's associated, because you said it's a SNP associated with lowered cardiovascular
they know the mechanism.
Risk, disease risk. But do they know, they know the mech?
You mean the biological mechanism?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
So
yeah, I don't know anything about cardiovascular
PCSK9 is a protein that degrades the LDL receptor.
Ah, okay.
So if you lower PCSK9, you have more LDL receptor, which means you take up LDL out of the bloodstream. Mm-hmm. And when I say LDL, I mean cholesterol.
Yeah.
So PCSK9 down, cholesterol in cells, out of the blood. Blood is bad, cells is better.
Yeah. And is this the good cholesterol or the bad cholesterol?
Bad.
This is the bad one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
That's how PCSK9 works. And PCL3, I'm going to be honest, I don't really know. It regulates cholesterol somehow.
Yeah.
Lipoprotein A is very different. Mm-hmm. It doesn't actually, it's a completely separate thing, but it's still a lipid. It's a lipid kind of similar to LDL, but different.
Different mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Amazing. Anything else?
Nope.
Cool. You like these Lilly deals?
I like Lilly.
All right.
It's a bit of a fight as well between there's like a US versus Europe thing going on with Lilly versus Novo as well.
Yeah, because that was like the first deal I went through was German, and that one was like American and American.
Yeah.
Companies.
What's the next one?
Next one, here comes the French big pharma, Sanofi.
This is where we have to turn our brains on again.
Yep. Oh gosh, I need your help with this because this is on a rare disease deal. So Sanofi is buying, this is the biggest deal it's had in 7 years. So it's quite a big deal. It buys Blueprint Medicines for up to $9.5 billion. That's huge.
That is huge.
And this is for a rare disease, immunology disease candidate. And the disease is systemic mastocytosis. and I had no idea what that was. So I need you to explain to everyone what that is.
Okay. Okay, so I'm always, like I say, I'm always a bit bothered by the really unnecessarily complicated medical names. So it's called indolent systemic mastocytosis.
Please dumb it down for me.
But it's actually, which makes it sound really boring, but it's actually really interesting from a medical perspective, from a biology perspective. It's actually really interesting. So we have mast cells.
What are mast cells? They're a type of immune cells.
They're part of immune cells. They're in the innate immune system. They protect us against bugs.
Yeah.
But they also cause allergy.
When they're over active.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they cause allergy to dust and to seafood and to bee stings and so on.
Uh-huh.
So they cause allergy too. This is a condition where the mast cell, or the precursor for the mast cell, has a mutation that means it's constantly pumping out mast cells.
In the KIT gene, KIT gene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pumping out mast cells. There's loads of mast cells and they're all mutant. So it's actually it's a malignancy. It's a kind of a blood cancer. So it's and the issue there is that it triggers kind of allergic-like effects. So these
hives and rashes.
Yes. And beyond that, most concerningly, anaphylaxis. So anaphylactic shock is a very, very severe allergic reaction where essentially the throat can close up and you lose the airway and you stop breathing. So it can cause anaphylaxis too. So
you don't want that to happen.
But I should also say that there's lots of different types of this mastocytosis. Mastocytosis just means there's lots of mast cells in the blood. There's lots of different types. This type that we're talking about actually has a normal lifespan. So it really affects quality of life. You have skin rashes and so on, like we said, but you have a normal lifespan.
Okay, that's good. But still, I imagine it's very, frustrating and like it's quite a disease to manage on a regular basis.
Yes.
Imagine having like allergic reactions like all the time.
Exactly. And by the way, the allergic reactions you have aren't necessarily triggered by anything. So if I have an allergic reaction, it will be triggered by dust or something. These guys may have an allergic reaction that's just kind of random with no
just
trigger.
by existing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And, this is like this goes into the rest of Sanofi's pipeline because they're really trying to double down on that rare disease expertise. And like this follows two of their other deals in 2025, one of which we've covered, by the way. Dren Bio, exactly. Yeah, Dren
What was
Bio.
remind me of the Dren Bio?
It was a bispecific antibody for, I think, B cell.
Yes, that's the one. Yes.
Yeah, tumor.
B cell depletion. That's
Yes,
right.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly. And that was $600 million upfront. With a $1.3 billion deal. Still nothing compared to this $9.5 billion deal. And then their second one was with Visual Neuroscience, a company with an Alzheimer's disease candidate, and that was for $470 million. But this deal is huge because this is like $9.1 billion in cash upfront, and then later with $400 million in earnouts, depending on milestones. So obviously they see a huge market in this space.
Yeah.
But this is because the numbers speak for themselves. So Blueprint Medicines, they already have a drug called Ivakit, can't say it. But they did $479 million in sales last year.
Yeah.
With the peak sales potential of $2 billion. And they're only a 14-year-old company, and they're making a lot of sales, hence this big cash up front.
And that's the drug that treats this mastocytosis that we were talking about earlier. It's actually the only drug that treats the underlying pathology in mastocytosis.
The KIT mutation.
Exactly. So all of the other drugs, so you might take things like antihistamines. I don't know why I always do this, by the way. I'm imagining taking an antihistamine, I think.
Yeah.
So you can take like antihistamines, but these just address symptoms. Whereas their drug, which was called
Ivakit.
So the molecule's name is avapritinib. Avapritinib is you're talking about.
Oh right, I'm talking about the brand name. Yeah.
But in any case, that targets the KIT mutation and targets the underlying pathology.
Yes, exactly.
And that's the only approved medication that does that, which is why so even though it's a rare disease, that's why it had decent sales last year, 480 million, and with a bigger potential too.
Exactly. And they've got two other KIT inhibitors in the pipeline. One for D816V, name of the mutation. And currently it's subject of a phase 2 or 3 study. And then they've got another KIT inhibitor, not sure how they're different, called Blue 808. So yeah, they're really double downing on this, one root pathology of this disease,
Interesting.
like root cause of this disease. It just blows my mind because like look at how much money you can generate from focusing on one disease and one root cause of that disease.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. The person that comes to my head is Martin Shkreli.
Tell us
because
about
he focuses on rare diseases, and one of the issues with the rare diseases, which is why they get less attention, is because there's less money there. Which is why he got in trouble, because he got a drug approved for a rare disease asset and then ramped up the price. But then his defense.
Which one was this?
It was for a kidney stone disease. I think his drug was called. It was like related to trimethoprim. It's a kidney stone disease.
Yeah.
But his argument would be that if you make the price more expensive, then you can make the drug. If you make the price cheaper, then no one makes the drug because there's no profit there. Do you see what I mean?
It's unit economics.
Yeah. So his argument is that actually it is the fact that the drug is expensive in a rare disease that makes it accessible. That's his argument. That make sense?
I think in our current capitalistic society, yes.
Yeah.
He is actually right. Because if you can't show that it's going to make you money, then investors won't give you money, or like your big pharma, like strategic leadership won't make the decision to go into it in the first place.
Yeah.
Because like they always work backwards. In the boardroom they show like this is how much revenue is going to make me, and we're going to price it at this, number, and that's why we can make it. It is kind of true. It's sad, but it's true. And it's like, sometimes I feel like big pharma gets a bad rep for like looking evil and like making lots of money and pricing things so high. But like in reality, a lot of the time, like R&D is really capital intensive.
Yeah.
I think to find like one candidate, you have to, spend at least $1 billion or $1 billion something just to get to the candidate before you even like put it in people.
Yeah.
Like just finding what that molecule or antibody is that might work. And then you have to spend like, I don't know how much more on like the clinical trials and everything. So
exactly. Yeah. Clinical trials, I think about $50,000 per patient, $50,000 per patient, roughly, which is extremely expensive.
Yeah. And times that by like at least hundreds of patients.
Exactly.
And then like you have to pay all the staff and time and money. And it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that all pharma companies are angels, right? Because like, I'm just saying like the costs do come from somewhere.
Yeah. Exactly.
And obviously each company is different, like how they run their company and their ethics and morals and how much they pay their employees, how much they give back to the community. Yeah.
So there we
I
go.
know. What's your point? What's your view as a clinician?
but I mean, but we need. So if blueprint medicines didn't exist, then there wouldn't be a therapy for mastocytosis.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and just to say, I don't know if I mentioned, I think they're also, yes, they're Cambridge based. Again, Boston.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to summarize?
Wow. Oh, yes, I will. So today we talked about some of the hottest biotech deals from June 2025, starting with the cancer vaccines deal between two German companies, BioNTech and CureVac, for $1.2 billion. Then Sam talked about his favorite space, his favorite pharma, Lilly, acquiring Verve Therapeutics for $1.3 billion. And then finally, just we just talked about Sanofi buying Blueprint Medicines in their biggest deal in 7 years for $9.5 billion. So yeah, very busy summer to start with. Lots of big bucks.
Awesome. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Good to see you, Sam. And next time we'll talk about deals in July.
Very exciting.
And breakthroughs in July.
Yes.
See you next time.